Hey, it's Lou, and here's the thing. Whether or not debates are useful is, well, up for debate. The presidential variety is often described as a job interview for the most important job in the world. It's a chance to see how candidates perform under pressure when they're away from their handlers and a list of carefully crafted talking points. And whereas the election cycle can be dominated by superficial sound bites and headlines, the debate stage offers an opportunity for a more detailed discussion. Or at least, that's the theory. In reality, critics assert that the presidential debates have become made-for-TV spectacles, vapid pieces of political theater where bullies and liars excel and where slogans and put-downs supersede nuance and evidence-based discourse. Worse, this trend has extended into the cultural sphere. Debate me or change my mind have become common challenges among the more aggressive internet pundits. So, do debates, particularly presidential debates, matter? Are they worth fixing? Or have they been permanently ruined by a media ecosystem that prizes ratings over what's good for democracy? Do debates actually change voting behavior, i.e., who people elect? Two political scientists studied every presidential election between 1952 and 2008 and found that evidence of debate effects has been fragile and clearly less impactful than party conventions. In other words, debates don't matter that much. Yet, other academic evidence shows that presidential debates provoke superficial reactions. For instance, researchers at the College of Worcester found that viewers who watched the 2008 debates on high-definition TV were more likely to have negative perceptions of John McCain than viewers who didn't watch it on HDTV. Researchers said several of the negative comments were about McCain's age. He was 72 at the time. A paper out of MIT came to a similar conclusion about political candidates in general, asserting, quote, appealing-looking politicians benefit disproportionately from television, primarily among less knowledgeable individuals. Keep in mind, this is supposed to be an election of leaders, not a beauty pageant. Alan Schroeder, a professor of journalism at Northeastern University and author of Presidential Debates, Risky Business on the Campaign Trail, told me that voters tend to remember the mistakes more than anything else, like Al Gore's audible sigh or George H.W. Bush's glance at his wristwatch. So, candidates tend to play it safe. They are excessively image conscious. It's not about informing the audience, it's about escaping unscathed. Jeffrey McCall, a professor of communication at DePaul University, blames the media, especially TV, for these shortcomings. He told me real debates, like you might see in an academic setting or in a courtroom, reward depth and nuance. Details are important. Verifiable facts are the norm. But the TV format gives debaters just a few minutes to articulate their ideas. During primary season, when 10 or more hopefuls are vying for attention, it's even worse. Complex issues are watered down. One-liners and sound bites often rule over evidence-based discussion. Take, for instance, the first 2012 presidential debate between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. The consensus, in the media at least, was that Romney dominated. However, Robert Rowland, a professor of communication studies at the University of Kansas and a former national debate champion, told me that by the standards of academic debates, he viewed Obama as the clear winner. The media gave Romney high marks for being succinct and aggressive, Rowland explained, and criticized Obama for being dull and too detail-oriented. For Rowland, Romney may have been a better actor in the political theater of the debate, but voters were better served by the type of in-depth policy discussion that Obama engaged in. Yet, as the debate season progressed, Obama was prepared to play the game, to transform from a professorial statesman to a flashy showman. In fact, Schroeder told me the Obama campaign had a pre-prepared zinger in their arsenal.
I think Governor Romney maybe hasn't spent enough time looking at how our military works. You mentioned the Navy, for example, and that we have fewer ships than we did in 1916. Well, Governor, we also have fewer horses and bayonets.
Horses and bayonets, a dig at Romney's view of the military's weaponry needs, went viral on Twitter. Schroeder told me the Obama campaign had the hashtag ready to go even before their candidate said it on stage. This underscores another one of McCall's criticisms. Presidential debates aren't exactly spontaneous exchanges of ideas. Candidates are coached in advance. McCall told me they tend to stick to rehearsed scripts as opposed to following the natural progression of a back and forth. He said they're essentially dueling press conferences. Actually, McCall told me they're dueling press conferences At best, at worst, he told me, they are mediated spectacles designed to draw ratings. And indeed, an estimated 84 million people tuned in to watch the first debate of the 2016 presidential election, according to Nielsen. Now, from my perspective, as someone who began his career in sports television production, it's hard not to notice how debates have become like sporting events. In some debates last presidential election cycle, candidates started off stage and were announced as if they were NBA players.
Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont.
The national anthem was performed. The sets, channeling Super Bowl halftime shows, were often elaborate. Beme's parent company, CNN, incorporated an airplane into one of the GOP debates in 2015. The Open for Democratic primary debate relied on metaphors you often hear in sports coverage.
A high-stakes clash of campaign rivals who have never gone head-to-head before. It's the Democrats' turn in the spotlight, with the White House on the line.
All of this criticism begs the question, what exactly do the networks want to achieve with these debates? Entertainment, putting on a show, or facilitating the type of deliberate discussion that empowers the population to make informed decisions? McCall told me this tension, of course, gets at an existential challenge for the news business. How do you balance content that rates well, that makes you money, versus what is in the best interest of society? To be fair, McCall told me the news networks wouldn't put together these types of spectacles if people didn't watch them. But, he added, it's important that media organizations put facts first. James Dimmick, a debate coach and professor at Minnesota State University Mankato, told me our wider culture deserves some blame for the shallowness and tone of presidential debates. We value winning. We value embarrassing our opponents. The word argument, in the classic sense, Dimmick explained, is about getting together, exchanging ideas, and working towards common ground and ultimately a solution. The end result isn't a winner, but the discovery of some truth, or at least a consensus. But in modern times, argument is often simple verbal aggression. Consider so-called debate me coward internet culture. Pundits challenge each other to debates, not with the intention of having a good faith exchange of ideas, Dimmick told me, but because they want to tear down their opponent. It's about dominance, not intelligence. It's about getting your audience to point and laugh at your opponent, not take them seriously. Yet, just because debates are broken and play into some of our worst instincts doesn't mean we should get rid of them. Ray Pingree, an associate professor of mass communication at LSU, told me that yes, there are shortcomings, but presidential debates are probably the least broken part of the election season. Normally, political news focuses on little snippets of policy proposals, he told me, and political advertising is often without substance. But debates are a unique opportunity to get the whole country listening to a much longer type of discussion. If nuance and fact-based discourse are missing, let's bring them back. Pingree said the media ought to do a better job at providing context. They ought to reject the speculative who won, who lost, horse race analysis, and instead focus more on fact-checking. Because when we treat presidential debates as a game, we all wind up losers. Okay, I'm gonna go live my life.